Hello. Today I'm gonna be creating Hypixel Skyblock. Even if you've never played it, you definitely heard of it because I just mentioned it about 3 seconds ago. So this is a game mode on a public server in a game which drains you of thousands of hours you could have spent putting yourself in a good position in life. Yeah. Do you think I was busy doing something important while I was gone again for 8 months? I was just playing this absolutely damned minigame. It got boring though. Let's start at the point where the game begins. You spawn on an island, like you usually do in any Skyblock game mode, and from that point on you have to punch a tree, and from those resources you have to build a bridge onto the next island. But that's boring, you can also just type /hub in the chat. And despite all of that, you won't even be spending any time on your private island, because you'll be busy doing other stuff, like being in some sort of cave system which is most definitely not in the sky anymore. Talking about in the sky, absolutely nowhere is given any context as to why any of this is in the sky. Let's talk making some cash. Currently, the only consistent good money making method would be mining, with farming really coming up at a close second. Don't correct me if I'm wrong. And you're gonna spend most of your time doing just those. There are some other things like dungeoneering, fighting a big squid, and crafting minion slots. By the way, I forgot to mention this and I don't know where to put it, but usually, because of the mods, the game looks like this. Oh, and another thing, please subscribe. I really need more numbers. And if you leave a comment with a weapon suggestion, you might appear in an upcoming video. Let's talk about some fun things for a change. There's a whole section of items with abilities. Exploring those abilities is one of my favorite things to do in any game. The weapons aren't exactly as cool and satisfying to use as some of the weapons in, for example, Dead Cells and Terraria. Holy shit! But comparing entire games to a minigame made by a small team of people with limited options is pretty silly. While I have been sounding pretty negative towards the game overall, I wouldn't actually say that I hated the time I spent on this. If I would have disliked it, I could have just quit at any time. That's not true. It was quite enjoyable for me actually, until the point where it just got kind of repetitive. Which is usually the case in most grindy games. Nothing stays fun forever. This game is also how I connected to a couple of friends, some of which I still talk to today. For a bit now I'm gonna go off script, because I want to talk about this game overall, how it's just more to me than just the gameplay itself. As honestly I don't really know where I'd be today if it weren't for this like minigame. Even though it might sound weird, it's kinda true as to how I've met like 3 maybe people I really actively talk to this day. Which, as cringe as it may sound, it's like in that way it's actually became a big part of my life. Even though I'm not actively playing it anymore, it's still just helped me a lot, even through times like COVID. It's just gonna sound really cringe, but I guess you can call this video kind of like a tribute to Hypixel Skyblock. When I say that I met like 3 people from playing the game, I'm like 2 people I met through the actual game. I didn't know in real life beforehand, but 2 people I managed to connect to through this game. But I actually met them on school. I heard them talking about Skyblock, so I managed to slide into conversation. And one other person I met like a whole way earlier, like maybe 2-3 years before I started playing, and we didn't really like progress a lot in terms of a connection, but like a large time, maybe like around, I guess, 500 hours maybe we spent together in this game. So I guess I did kind of manage to progress in terms of connection. And honestly, if you're like looking for friends, I would say this is a very good place to start, because it's a lot of people with similar interests. So that way you could just find some people which you deem like would accompany you well. Overall, I am genuinely thankful for the people who made this game and wanted to play it with me. Sometimes I would like to see into a reality on which some small minor things wouldn't have happened and how I would have ended up. So if you like Minecraft and you like grindy stuff, maybe if you're looking for some friends to play with, I 100% would recommend this. It's a painful grind at times and you need to have patience, which I don't really like in video games, but in the 3000 hours something I've spent playing this, I actually really enjoyed it. This video is gonna do absolutely horrible because I didn't upload in like 9-10 something months, which the algorithm doesn't like, and it's my first time doing one of these commentary kind of videos. So if you liked it, please help me out. Bye bye.